All right, guys. So we got our 11th meeting of the WriteNow Writers Group, and I am happy to have both our crowd favorite Chat Soul and our fan favorite Mr. Crazy Root Beer here. I'm really happy to have you guys here with me. How's as we were thinking about like what to actually talk about writing today, we're all like, all right, we need to talk about some type of writing. I'm like, well, we'll come up with something. So we'll get some fun stuff going on today, and I also just realized that I can move us around, so we might have some fun with that.
Juggling
realizes how to use the program after 270 days of streaming. So that'll be great. So what we're going to be doing today, let me welcome you to the WriteNow community. This is our 11th WriteNow Writers Group meeting. We're going to be having some writers chat. We will also be doing some writing sprints. But today, we're going to be doing something really fun. I am officially calling today Word Count Wednesdays. We're going to see on our writing sprints who can write and who can get in the most words. So we're going to be seeing that on our writing sprint. We're going to probably do a check-in on our stories first, but when we get to the first writing sprint, we'll do 2 today. If we have time, we'll do 3. Expect this to be, we're going to go about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So let's get some good stuff in. If you're here in the stream, welcome. I'm Kaufman, and I'm on a mission to help the unpublished writers of the world with the process, lifestyle, and mindset that it takes to be an author and write the first book. So welcome to the WriteNow community, because we're starting right now. All right, and I'm glad to have you guys in here. Miss Courtney, welcome. Reached 90%, 70,000. And let me bring my friends back up. Reached 90%, 72,262 words. Might have freaked out early this morning. You guys know Courtney's been trying to hit her goal of the 100%, which I think is 80K words by her birthday, which I believe Courtney's birthday is in like a week or two. Of not only hitting that goal, but also helping us to try to hit our 500 subscriber milestone. So I see why you laugh now. I saw Courtney's other comment because I was talking about our Word Count Wednesday challenge. Chat Soul is not allowed to play.
There we go. Let's
you guys are no fun.
That is exactly why Chat Soul is allowed to play. Chat Soul said in the bar over here, we're like, we can write more words than Soul. If you can, you're getting the gold star.
Yes.
It's crazy. Crazy. You and me in like the past couple writers groups, we have both not been doing very well at word counts. Yeah. I was doing sprites, so I was like, okay, I had some excuse, but I think today, I think we can do it. I believe in us.
You can do it.
Hey, I was like, I'm gonna use the force.
Yes, there we go.
I'll show you guys a really funny picture. I was out on an adventure today, and I was feeling really sleepy, and then I rounded the corner, and this is the picture that I came across.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yes! I was like, I want a coffee.
I love
it. I was like, I think that was a sign. It was a sign to go in there and get some coffee, and I was like, wow, coffee shop, clever advertising. Oh, man. But yeah, I went on an adventure today. I definitely did. I was doing some networking with some local students. And then I also went to go research for my book. So actually, this brings up a great question. I have an absolutely phenomenal question for our writing community. When you're working on a new project or a new book or a series, what does research look like for you? I'm curious. Whether it's a completely fantasy novel, whether it's nonfiction, whatever it is. What does that research process look like? For me, I am working obviously on a book about a bunch of animals and creatures. So I was like, all right, well, what place can I go see animals? The zoo. So I went to the zoo to try to see if I could actually find any of the closest animal species. And of the 28 characters that I have in my book, I would say 22, I'd say probably 22 of them are actual animals, maybe 20-ish. And of those, I saw 3 of the animal species. I was like, okay. That's a good start. The coolest thing I saw though was a tiger, and I was like, the tiger was actually pretty badass.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. I was like, there's my Tiger King in action. I was like, if there wasn't this glass between us, he'd probably like tear my face off. Oh man, Megan was like, "Oh yeah, I saw that Star Wars coffee sign on Twitter." Yeah, I know that sign cracked me up so much.
Love it.
So yeah, so research. What type of research do you guys do when you're getting ready for your books? I'm curious. Or is just the research of the mind? Like,
For me, it's you can it's basically just Google. Like sometimes if it's about a certain weaponry that might have existed in a certain time, I got to make sure it's like, did this exist or am I just making it up? And I don't like doing that. I like to keep it legit. So Google is my thing to go to when it comes to either weaponry or certain people from a certain like for my newest book that I'm writing, there's this new group out, and I do some research on it, and I'm like making sure that they existed in that time, and also who are they and whatnot, so I can include it in my book a little bit, and that's how I do it. Is just Google it and make sure I get the facts straight.
Okay, I like that. So it's like when you have like a specific problem that you're trying to solve or something that you're trying to prepare for, you're like, okay, I'm going to go down like a Google rabbit hole.
Yeah, like if somebody is holding like a certain axe or whatever, I go like, okay, is this certain axe, did this exist in this timeline?
Mhm.
And sure enough, for Google, it's like, yes, it did, white one. Thank you
Like,
for asking.
I was like, I literally just dropped that Q&A in the chat right now.
Yeah.
And right, so I dropped the Q&A. When planning for your novel, what type of research do you do? But crazy, that's something that I myself do whenever I'm like thinking about different areas. I'm like, okay, what type of research? And I'm sure that's probably pretty common for a lot of writers. I'm curious if there's other research models. And as a side note, in October, I actually have a guest coming on who literally goes on location when they're writing for horror.
Nice.
It's going to be a really interesting one. Their podcast episode isn't until later next month, but I'm like, wow. Talk about going method. That's like the method actor who, like, to become the actor, to become the character, they have to change who they are.
Love it.
Looks like we got some. Oh, what were you going to say, Sol?
I know for myself, when it comes to research, it kind of varies. For my fan fictions, if I don't know enough about the character, I will look up their wiki, and I will, depending on the character it is, I will also almost obsessively rewatch the episode that they appear in, or
yeah, that actually totally makes sense. That totally makes sense.
I know one of my fan fictions. I had started writing it after one of the latest episodes of One Piece, where Shanks finally appeared. I think I watched the episode 3 times to finally get a beat on his personality at that time, so I could actually write him a little better. And then I ended up watching like One Piece Film Red, and I watched some of the older episodes that had him in it, so I could actually like get a better idea of how his character acted. If I'm writing something where it's about like a fictional creature like unicorns or dragons, I don't actually need to do much research. I know enough. But sometimes I'll look up more things to figure out, hey, do I actually want to base this unicorn off like the Chinese model? Do I want to base it off the European model? Do I want to find unicorn from a different culture and do that? Same thing with dragons, things like that. I actually
kind of like that you use a lot of mythological and cultural for your research.
I love basing everything I do off of mythology and just legends of all kinds. I prefer using those over anything else. And then I will read about like various cultures when I'm actually writing too, if it comes anywhere in play. Like when I created the Nuveri warriors, the Nuveri tribe for my pirate series, I had to
Nope. All right, everyone freeze. Technical difficulties. We're like, all right, we lost our chat, so all right, well, so we'll be back. So we'll be right back when her internet
after
reset.
These messages from Binford.
I was like, Sol was literally right on the verge of saying something like epic, and she's like, and then this is.
Stop. Hammer time.
So we'll be back. But in the meantime, actually, yeah, your internet. So this happens. It looked
It's
like you
been
were
like
literally
this for like 3 days. It randomly drops out.
It was interesting because Megan was saying for my fan fiction, I look back on Chinese mythology, especially on the 4 cardinal beasts, and 5th beast to refresh the brain and looking back at S5, a monkey kid, to grasp on the beasts. It sounds like Megan kind of takes a similar research method to kind of what you do, Soul. And then Courtney was saying for my contemporary romance, I got to know the towns I was talking about and did a lot of research on dealing with angry that comes with grief. Okay, so then the research was kind of on settings and locations, and then some of the emotional and psychological to the character development itself. These guys are having a funny conversation here about using psychedelics to improve as a way of researching for books. I'm like, I guess that could be one research strategy out there, I'm sure. I think it really comes to, right, if you're going to do drugs, be safe. Be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Be in a safe environment. That's my biggest thing. Like, if you're going to do something that outside of alcohol that just does any type of shifts your mind or your way of thinking, do it in a safe environment. Or if you're going to go do it outside or do it in somewhere that's not in your house, then do it with somebody who knows what they're doing. So that way you don't endanger yourself and you do not die. That's the thing that I care about.
Mm-hmm.
But having lived in San Francisco for a good 2 years, I was like surrounded by that type of hippie culture. And there was a lot of hippies, especially with Burning Man over there, where they would like, yeah, we go on like psychedelic trips all the time. And like, that's how we like come up with our characters. And that's how we come up with our stories. I'm like, wow, that's a trip. But I think what's interesting is because I think it plays into the creativity. So I think like drugs aside, I think it's the thing that I see in common with everyone is that we're basically researching different aspects of our storytelling, whether it's for a physical thing or whether it's for a psychological thing. And then how we go about the research process is like, okay, well, we go down some type of like Google rabbit hole. And maybe that's like a researching for culture, or maybe that's researching for something that's more specific. And I'd say everything that I've heard so far seems pretty consistent.
I saw somebody had just said, what was it? Yeah, listening to music. This is one thing that's kind of helped me with focusing on my writing and stuff is just, I mean, one of my fan fictions, it was actually based off a song that I was listening to. I got the idea from that, and it actually turned out to be one of my more popular fan fictions, and it was my longest one too. And yeah, no, it was weird because like I'm just listening to it, and then suddenly it's like, wait a minute, holy crap, I have an idea for this.
That's actually kind of cool. That's cool that was actually able to give you some good inspiration. And by the way, I just want to say, Tiara, welcome. ML, welcome, my friends. We're talking about how do you do research. And it sounds like we get really great inspiration from actually really random places. And I think music is such a great strategy. Such a great strategy. I've definitely had stories before where I've thought of a whole story from like a song.
I do the same thing too when I'm writing a chapter. If something is happening mood-wise, I go to my playlist and play that song that reminds me of that mood, and I just start writing.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, I've definitely had like playlists for either like a certain script or a certain story. And I'm like, all right, this is the vibe. If I feel like I'm lost, I need to get into, I'm like, all right, I need to listen to this music. Just like get into the zone. Definitely has happened to me before.
Yes.
Courtney wants to find someone with a motorcycle for their next project. Well, if we know any motorcyclists out there, Courtney needs a research partner. That's kind of what the vibe I was on too. So like today, for those of you who are just showing up, I went to the zoo because I wanted to research for some of the animals. I was hoping to see as many as I could. I only saw 3 species of about the 20 or so. but I think the tiger was the biggest one. And obviously I know I can go look up videos. I can go watch Animal Planet and all the things, and I'll be able to find all the stuff online. I thought, as if the circumstance was right, being able to see it live in person would provide an additional layer of realism, and just watching kind of their movements and kind of seeing how dynamically they active, at least in a contained environment. So I thought that was really interesting. It really was. It gave me some ideas on kind of like movement, kind of like style and character development for my Tiger King character. So I thought that was fun.
Better to see things in person than on TV.
And it's like if we have the opportunity, right? Especially, it's like circumstantial, and it also depends on the story that we're writing as well, right? I'm writing a story full about characters. And I know Courtney mentioned that she did research on like a fictional town, or on a town that she's writing about, but it's probably a little different when we're working on creating entirely fictitious universes. I know, Sola, you will use a reference of like mythology, and I like to use mythology in my like background as well. I know for a lot of like stories, a lot of really predominant storytellers like Lord of the Rings, J.R.R. Tolkien used a lot of the lore and mythology for I forgot what mythos it was, but I think he used it from a lot of mythology, where a lot of Middle Earth was actually fleshed out originally.
I know what you're talking about. I just cannot think of it off the top of my head.
I know. I forgot what mythology it was. What mythology was LTR based on? Norse mythology.
Yeah, that makes sense.
English, Finnish, and Celtic. I was like, that's what I thought. I think for me personally, and actually this is a great question. For me personally, when I use a reference point in history, I prefer Greek mythology. Greek mythology has always like fascinated me so much.
Yes.
What is your favorite period of history where you like to pull mythology from?
I go with Native American whenever I can.
Okay. So then you like to use like a lot of like Native American like traditions, cultures, and infusing that into like the character.
Pretty much. In A Dog's Life, this hosted game that I've been trying to write for years. I actually had to create long story short with that is you play as a dog, and you can live as a stray, or you can live as a pet in some way, shape, or fashion. And one of the animals that you can play as is a wolf. If you start off as a wolf or a wolf hybrid, you can actually ask your mother for a story before you get separated from her. And I actually designed her entire story after Native American myths of how the wolves came to be. And the coyotes have a similar story as well. And it's all based off of everything that I read from Native American mythology growing up.
And sure, that's actually really cool. That is.
I am very proud of that story.
I wonder, do you think are there any well-known stories or well-known books or franchises where each different culture in the world is based off a different like society, or not society, but like a different culture from like, so it's like a mix of like Greek mythology, maybe Norse and Native American, I think
the Last Airbender series might actually be that way. I know all of the Last Airbender series, because I know that all of the different styles. I know that all of the bending styles are derived from different kinds of martial arts.
And that I didn't.
If you look at all of the styles of their clothing and their buildings, all completely different cultures.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I had seen that, and I remember one of the reasons the original movie flopped so much was because they like cliched and stereotyped that casting so badly.
And they whitewashed it, which was really bad. It was a really bad decision.
Yeah. But I think it just goes to show, it literally goes to show, right? Two completely different adaptations of the same exact work. Now, you could argue, right, maybe Airbender is better as a TV series because you can you have more time to explore the character arcs and so on and so forth. Probably could be done successfully as a series of movies, I'm sure. But I think it goes to show, right? Adaptations are crazy. And like speaking of adaptations, the guest actually that I'm having on this Sunday is his short film has won a bunch of awards in the festival circuit for his adaptation of a Stephen King story.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, so like we're going to be able to see like a first like clip that hasn't been shown yet this Sunday. So it's going to be super cool. This Sunday's podcast. Awesome. And it looks like we got some good chat in here. Courtney is like, I changed my music based on the tone of the scene. Last night was a lot of funeral songs. Oh, you're writing the sad ending. Oh, like I know she's almost near the end. And Megan's like, oh, and in an old cartoon involving Incinerator or Crusher in a junkyard is a great idea for a way of the demonic gang leader to try to kill my protagonist until her pals come to rescue her. Sounds like you're getting some really good inspiration for your story, Megan. That's actually really awesome. I think the greatest thing is when you're watching something and you're not expecting it, and it gives you like a great idea. That is what happened to me when I was on an adventure a couple weeks ago. I was just randomly walking down the street. I was completely in a different mindset. I was different zone. Wasn't thinking about my story at all. And I turned towards the window, and there's this display inside this window. Inside this window is like shop window, and there's a bunch of just different like stuffed animals, and there's like they had them like displayed on all these things with paintings. And I looked at it, and then I pulled back, and I'm like, I had a connection with Pebble, my fairy, my pixie character, and it suddenly clicked into place what the plot of the second book was for Last Scarecrow. And I was like, that's so exciting. Like I already knew what the overarching plot is of the series, but I wasn't sure what the specific one. So it's like inspiration can come from many different areas. From many different areas.
Yes.
Let's see. Eli is like, I am big into physical media for research. I just got a bunch of maps and I'll buy books on topics I want to learn a lot about. That's good. So you'll definitely you go like the physical book route where that's literally it's kind of like another type of research, but you're going more like the physical. The physical is really important, it sounds like. I feel like that's the vibe. Like if I wanted to go to like a library, if I wanted to go to like a library to do research, which actually like going to a library is a great thing because it's supporting libraries, which in itself is a good thing. So awesome. Well, I feel like we've got like some good initial like warm up conversation. What are you guys working on today? Let's prepare for a writing sprint. And by the way, we're going to be doing a word count challenge. So we're going to see who can get the most words in our writing sprints today. Let's see if we have the energy to beat Chat Soul. Now that I'm actually working on the second draft, I can compete. So word counts.
I'm gonna go get popcorn so I can watch this happen. Because if you win, I'm gonna owe people some money.
The writing sprint starts and Chris like,
or the other way around. I'm sorry. If Cat Soul wins, I'm gonna owe people some money.
Right,
oh, you're gonna bet against me, are you?
Yeah, pretty much. You need to be defeated.
I think we have
good chance. Good luck with that.
I wasn't talking about me defeating you. I'm talking about somebody else.
Ooh, who can beat Chat Soul at the word count?
I'm voting for either Kaufman.
Courtney beat me once.
Courtney. Courtney.
Very good word count generally. Courtney also has a good average. At the same time, when you get to that part of your novel and you're in that like last like the 70% to 100%, and if you already know what your climax is, then generally like, your pace kind of picks up because like you're like, I know what I need to write. You hit that point where like I want to finish the book.
Yeah, that's how I was with the end of Pirates. The second I got into that, like the second to last chapter, I think it took me a day and a half to finish both the final chapters and the epilogue. Because I knew what was going to happen. I knew what I wanted there. And it was like, yeah, no, I'm just going to finish this.
Oh, man. It's just that vibe. And I think it's like the knowing with like the creative side does very, very well. So what are you guys working on though? What are we going to be vibing with our writing?
I've got my Lunarian story up again. I've been trying to want to finish that. I've been trying to work on the Liar and the Cat again, but still can't make any headway with that.
With which one?
It's called. It's actually the third chapter in the Yonko's Apprentice series, the East Blue arc. It's the one from Usopp's point of view, but
okay, that's right. You're struggling with Usopp, with the Usopp's character. Is it just that like you can't capture his tone? Is that you just can't capture his tone?
He's a liar. He's a liar and a coward, and I can't stand those kinds of characters. At least the liar part, and it makes it so difficult to write from that point when I can't stand that. I've been trying to focus on more of how he wants to prove himself, but it's still proving a bit more of a problem. So
I think the strategy is to think of him less as a liar and a coward, even though like those are the things that happen as a result, and thinking more from like on the depth. Everyone's the hero of their own story, right? Even though Usopp has some very obvious poor traits that make him a comedic sidekick, he still believes that he is the hero, right? So why does he lie? Usopp lies because he wants to be the pirate, because he care. And I think if I recall correctly, I don't know if they probably add more to a storyline, I'm sure. But if I recall, it had to do with his dad, who was originally a pirate, or who was a pirate. Sounded like he wanted to be like his dad, who he never saw. So technically,
it's kind of like that. Usopp wants to be a brave warrior of the sea. That's what he's vowed.
But
he wants to.
I think it originates from the daddy issues, right? Like I'm pretty sure
that's a little bit. I think he wants to not. So I think when it comes to Yasopp, I think Usopp wants to not exactly follow in his footsteps per se, but I think he wants to do something similar to what his dad is doing, but it wasn't quite as defined until he met Luffy, and then when they met with Dory and Broggy in Little Garden, that's when it became cemented that he wanted to be a brave warrior of the sea. But the part that I'm writing at now, we're not even that far. I'm literally on the chapter where they end up meeting Kuro, and I'm just before you end up meeting him. So I'm literally at when Usopp is literally nothing more than, well, this cowardly idiot.
There you go. Just rewrite his story then. Do something more fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to focus on the whole trying to prove himself.
Don't do Usopp,
focus on his dad thing, but
Usopp. Just call him Usopp. Crazy. What about you, my friend? What are you working on?
I am working on the third Razio Chronicles book, and this might be the final Razio Chronicles book of the series. Some of the characters on there are going to come back throughout the series, but they won't have their own adventures anymore. So this will be the last one, and not gonna lie, I kind of hate that because this has been my all-time thing to write from day one. But hey, you got in sometime, you know. But right now, right now, Raziel is on his way to Egypt to find a stone, and his father, who is now a werewolf, is already there at Egypt, and he finds out something that kind of takes him off a little bit. I'm not gonna say what it is, but kind of takes him off to make it a little bit of bloodbath.
Ooh, a little. So it sounds like you're about to write a really crazy scene then.
Yes.
You're like, those are the best ones to write. Those are
That's why I loved writing the Raziel Chronicles so much. I've always felt so comfortable writing them. And I know I like also writing my other stories that I have been writing about, but it's just with the Raziel Chronicles, I feel way more comfortable writing about that than anything else so far.
Really?
Yeah, and that's
why such a level of comfort?
Well, number one, I love the darkness, and also I love vampires and werewolves. Yes, and love vampires and werewolves, and just the whole idea of what you can do with them is just good enough, and just with the combined forces of the darkness and vampires and werewolves is good enough for me. I go from writing about evil to trying to write about good is like, but I feel so comfortable being evil.
I just want to write a bad guy. I just want to live on the dark side of the force.
Yes.
All right, beautiful, my friend. So I have that is not a good site. So let's change it up. All right, there we go. So we got that. I got the timer, and I think we are all set. All right, now let's see. Before we begin, so we're going to be hopping into this next writing sprint. 20 minutes. Let's see who can get the most words in. Awesome. ML, that's a really great point. I was trying to figure out Scarecrow's style. I'll see what comes up in the writing sprint, and we'll chat about it after. Thanks for the recommendation. All right. So I got the music going. We're going to see who can write the most words. Highest word count, 20 minutes. All right. So we got 20 minutes on the clock, and it's time to write now. All right. Right. Pens, fingers away from the keyboard. No more words. No more words. All right. Writing timer done. Writing sprint done. All right. So what we're going to do is we are going to check our word count. But before we do, if you're enjoying the stream, follow and subscribe. We're here every day with the Right Now community to help you with the lifestyle, process, and mindset of being an author. And today we have a Right Now Writers Group every Wednesday to help give you the motivation and maybe see if we can really improve our word counts. So tap that follow button, tap that subscribe button, because when we hit 500 subscribers, the Right Now Discord channel will be launched. We will launch that Discord. So smash those buttons because we got a lot coming up. And we'll get to our scheduled event shortly. But first, let's check in on our word counts. All right, my friends. How did it go for you guys?
780 words.
All right, Soul, 780 words. It looks like we got Courtney clocking in at 638. Wait, Soul, how many did you get? 780?
Yes.
780. Ooh, Megan got really close. Megan was at 702. Megan, you were so close, my friend. So close. What about you, Crazy?
298.
298. Let's see. What did I do? I got added today. Oh, I got 299. Clearly, I wasn't.
I lost the bet.
You and me, Crazy. We're like taking up the tail end with our slow word counts. We're like, it's not about the quality, it's the quantity.
Yes, that is
okay.
true.
But sometimes it's not the quantity if you're in a word count race. So clearly, Crazy, neither of us are doing too well at this front.
Yeah, I'm not too good with being a racer. I'm more of a being in the world than trying to count words.
You know what? I like that. Even though I wrote 299 words, each of my words, because they were so expertly crafted, count as 3 times per word. So in my mind, it's actually like 900 words.
There you go.
I think that's what we're going with.
I win. I win.
I win.
I win the
bet. But we'll have another shot at this. We'll have another shot at another word count Wednesday challenge on our next writing sprint. We'll do another writing sprint we'll do another one in like 20-30 minutes. So we'll do another one. But writer's break. I'm like, okay, how'd the writing go? Were we actually able to get some like quality stuff in? I know before the sprint, I know ML mentioned something for my character. So like I said, I'm rewriting the beginning of my first chapter. And Crazy. So like, I don't know if you guys saw yesterday, but I've been trying to figure out what Scarecrow looks like, because it's like the first chapter and I need to make sure I define like his actual like face and what he's wearing. So I was kind of thinking through all the different ideas, and then ML, I loved you that you suggested him having what was that? Personal protective equipment. I love that. And like you saying that, I was like, yes, that actually is perfect. That is actually literally perfect, because he did die literally trying to save the world, so to speak. And in a post-apocalyptic type environment, especially at that time, he would have still been on the tail end. He actually really would have been on the tail end of being a human, which means that he would have been acting as protecting himself as a human pre-Scarecrow. So that means he actually would have been using protective equipment, which that actually makes sense. Originally, I had envisioned Scarecrow like, and this is what I was trying to figure out. I'd love your guys' like feedback on this, but I'm trying to envision like, what does the Scarecrow look like? Because when we think of Scarecrow, there's like a lot of different versions. You could think of Scarecrow with like a pumpkin head. You could think of like different variations. But I'm thinking, and somebody mentioned Wizard of Oz yesterday. I was like, all right, there's a classic. But I'm thinking for this Scarecrow, I want his entire body, I want it to actually be straw, but I want him to have a very like human looking vibe, very intentionally so. Since basically every character in the world is non-human. I think he's the only one that's going to be the closest to resembling. But I want him to look with like his straw. The straw body is like it's like interwoven straw throughout his entire body, but he has stuffing that like comes out of all different parts of his body, kind of like the concept with Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, you
That
just
kind of
I'm gonna have to look it up real quick. You guys talk, but you reminded me of something, but I gotta look up his name.
So yeah, that was just something that I was playing around with. And then they mentioned that the equipment, and I was like, okay, so then what he's wearing is he's going to have this like tattered like trench coat. He's going to have this tattered trench coat. Don't know what type of like maybe jeans, pants. I have to figure out what type of material exists. But then on his face, he's actually going to have, he has his hat. The hat's like a noticeable thing. And so kind of like the Luffy hat with One Piece, I was like, okay, how do I do like a hat for Scarecrow? Because I know Luffy's straw hat. Like we know that's the one. That's what he's known for. But I know that I always want to get I could change ideas with that was and I'm like, okay, for now we'll go just like
And you want
hat.
you want his like straw, like face wise, you want his straw to kind of blend in with like the skin of the human.
I think so. Originally, I was thinking like, okay, have his face be like a different material, and that's kind of. But as I've been thinking more through it, I think his entire body should just be the same material. I think it should just be completely straw instead of his face being like mesh or like one of those types of like.
Because if you were thinking about that, the best way that I could think of, which I looked it up, was from the 1932 film of The Mummy with Boris Karloff, and what they did with him was that he looked more human, but you could see wrinkles on his face, and that's because what
which
they
one?
said.
For which
the Mummy, the Mummy
which
of 1930, the 1932, Boris Karloff.
1932, The Mummy.
Yes.
Awesome.
And what they did, that his face did still look kind of wrinkly and stuff, but what it was they said that it was as if the bandages melted into his face.
Interesting. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So like this kind of vibe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of in that direction, actually. Less obviously horror because it's a mummy, but I actually think that's it. Almost like the straws blended into his face.
Yeah.
I think, and then the difference is that stuffing basically comes out of him. The more stuffing he loses, the more he loses his physical form, and that's an actual thing throughout the story.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's a great recommendation. And then I think I'm actually going to start him wearing off like goggles and a mask, and I think I'm actually going to have his character be defined by having a pair of goggles, almost giving him a steampunkish vibe in a sense. I think that's actually the right direction.
I love it.
But that came to me thanks to ML mentioning the protective equipment. So thank you, my friend. And let's see, it looks like
honestly, I was kind of thinking for his face, having his face made of like twigs moved in like a certain way to give the general idea of certain features.
You know, I was thinking about that for a while as well. I was like, okay, well, what if I go more of a nature vibe? Right? What if I do the nature and I like do it more like vines, foresty, twigs? And I think the reason I moved away from that, or I think the reason that I'm thinking of moving away from that, is because I want him to feel a little bit more human. And I think if I do nature like that, it's going to make him feel less human, more creature, which he is a creature now at this stage in the story. But I think what I'm going to do to offset that soul is I'm going to have the nature part of it be like his hands. His hands and feet are going to be more like twig. I'm trying to think like sometimes like more like twigs, might be vines, something that's more like naturey. So that way his main body will be straw. It'll be like straw, and then some type of like twig, probably some type of like twig, maybe a type of rock. But I think that will play into when later on he figures out how to detach his body.
Okay.
And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm not hard set on it yet. Obviously, I still have a full draft to go through, but I love the ideas. I love the suggestions. But how did your guys' stories go? How'd it go?
Let's see. Right now, I'm working on the part where Silas ends up meeting back up with Rayleigh. So I've been looking forward to writing that part because it was supposed to be kind of like a not exactly like an emotional reunion, but it was supposed to be kind of like, holy crap, this is one of my mentors, and he's either going to be really happy to find me or he's going to be really pissed at me. And so right now it's just a conversation between those two, and it's turning out kind of interesting, actually.
Ooh,
it's turning out a little more somber than I anticipated, but
wait, why would he be pissed at you? Is it because of like the style that you're going to be putting or what you're putting in?
Well, when Silas left, it was an accident. He was an 11-year-old with an attitude problem who flew off before he knew he could fly.
Okay.
And got separated from them, and it's been 6 years.
that
he literally just got lost.
He literally just got lost for 6 years. That's not embarrassing at all.
Oh yeah, no, it's not.
It's actually kind of funny. That is actually kind of funny. I absolutely love that. What about you, Crazy? Did you make like anything fun? You said you were writing something crazy with on the scene you're at. Exactly. What were all the words? That's just what it is. Ninja.
Ninja punish. I've just written about how Raziel and a friend of his from his clan have entered Egypt, but not where his father is. Think of it as like his father's over here, but they are like over here. So they're kind of separate places. And then now they have some certain mysterious person has actually told them something that has also ticked them off just a little bit, but not as much as his father. His father's more of like, if I'm not pleased, I will kill you.
And nobody likes that from their dad. Does this character have daddy issues?
Not really. No. He's more of he's more of I'm gonna do what I want with or without his permission.
So he's the rebel without a cause.
Yeah, he did stuff in the very first one that made it everything in his clan change to where it was like a big massive domino effect.
Ooh, I like that. So he's kind of the one who like made almost like changed the original world, so to speak, of what they
made it to where it was your classic, you know.
Did he get everyone killed? Did he get everyone killed? Are the ninjas after him now because of him?
No, that's from a different story though. But
I don't even know
that's from the story I actually recently finished. But what he did was actually kind of twist things to where they were supposed to search for this. In the very first one, they were supposed to search for this bloodstone, and Raziel made it to where he completely, as if saying he took like 90% of the clan and made them turn against his father.
Really?
And while his father did something also tricky that Raziel didn't know about.
Ooh.
With another stone.
Ooh.
So now we are searching for the third stone.
Sounds like that's absolutely a good setup.
Yes.
Sounds like that's absolutely a good setup.
It went from searching for something to the second one was about a big war that happened, and now it's basically searching for a third stone.
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun. So like you and me are kind of in the beginning of these stories right now, even though I'm on the second draft. Yeah. We're still in the early part. Soul's dealing with the characters just going on a being lost joyride for 6 years. Sounds like
probably lying to her from time to time. I don't know.
And it sounds like with our other writers here, let's see. Oh my god, I can't wait to when I hear they. All right, so they're chatting. Oh, Gore, by the way, this is a good suggestion, by the way. His hands could be thick, thorny branch pieces. I think that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think it's going to be like some type of branch, like almost his like fingers. Well, he wears these cutoff gloves. I know I do want him to have a cutoff glove thing so you can actually see his fingertips. I think that's important because when he deals with fire, like we got to see him getting burned. Hopefully the scarecrow survives the burning. So I think that's absolutely good. Thanks for that suggestion. Let's see. Kaufman, your phrase for tonight is daddy issues.
Yes.
You know what's funny? It's because earlier this morning I was reading a client story, and can't say whose, but I was reading a client story, and one of the characters was dealing with daddy issues. And now it's been on my mind all day. Oh man! And then one of the characters in my story, the Tiger King character, was a character that dealt with daddy issues. So, and that was like the one animal I saw at the zoo that was like, this is the animal. And I'm like, ah, good. Now that's on my head all day. Clearly, I'm only thinking about characters with daddy issues. Calling me out on the stream. Let's see. Oh, I did see a really cool cat at the zoo. It was like a jaguar type cat. I didn't remember the names of all that, but that one was cool.
How big was it?
It wasn't huge. It wasn't like the size. It wasn't like the size of a dog, but it also wasn't the size of like a house cat. It was like in between. So like medium-ish. I wish I had taken a picture of the names of the animals. Yes, yeah. So it's definitely spotted.
Might have been an ocelot.
Maybe it was. But it looked like it. The face looked like a cat. I was like, I took pictures. I can took pictures of all of them. I'm gonna post them at some point. I was like, where was it? I think that cat was one of the ones I actually got a decentish enough picture.
Because it's not the size of a dog. Well,
I'll see if you can actually. Can you actually see it?
Yeah, I can.
That's a caracal.
A caracal? Yeah, I was like, yeah, I don't even know what all these things are.
It's an African wildcat.
Oh, that makes sense actually. The zoo, the focus was on animals from the African region. It was definitely animals from the African region. So like that was actually super cool. I got the cutest thing with the penguins. You know, you need penguins.
Penguins, yes.
The penguin thing was cool. And then I was like, all right, well, I guess I do technically have a tortoise in the story. So I guess we got the tortoise vibe over here. But yeah, I would say definitely tiger, definitely the win. Tiger is definitely.
That is such a good picture.
And I got a video. It was like a full video of him just like literally prowling back and forth. And I'm like, perfect. I got one of them at least. I'm like, I'll call that a win. Oh man. Let's see. It looks like ML is saying, I'm working to get my character's backstory into this. I'm working to get my character's backstory into the story without slowing down the pacing. Yeah, that's always an interesting one because a lot of times, and I'm sure Soul and Crazy, I'm sure you guys have dealt with this, right? When we need to do character development, and this can happen sometimes with world building, where there's things we need to tell the reader. Actually, this happens the most with plot, but there's things we need to tell the reader. But what happens is we end up telling them instead of showing them, right? So it's like, I want to tell the reader that my character, this is for Courtney's sake, has daddy issues. And I want to tell the reader that my character has daddy issues. I could put in a paragraph of this character has daddy issues, or if I want to show it, right? I'm being facetious right here. I could show the character getting beat up and then having a hatred towards a father figure, and they're fighting each other. And the moment that it brings up something about being a father, he always like bugs him every single time in this moment. And then he thinks back to, I always hated my dad. And then you call that out a couple of times in the same scene, and that's a way of showing it. The reader will be smart enough to pick up on that. Oh, he has problems with his dad, daddy issues. And it's just how you go about it creatively, right? You can literally do it 100 different ways. I'm sure, Courtney, you can probably come up with 20 other different ways to show daddy issues for us.
Yeah, I do something similar with my characters.
Oh yeah,
in
what
the
do you
second book, you finally get to actually learn some of Brennar's issues with his home, and the way it's revealed is just like, oh god. It explains so much. But like I basically lead into that kind of slow. I give a little few hints here and there, and then suddenly I smack you in the face with it. So I had too much fun with that part.
So it sounds like we're just having fun with characters today. And I can even tell in the chat, I didn't even think about this for Scarecrow. Scarecrow's new like crossed combo duo. Groot meets Scarecrow.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, Courtney, thank you. Yes. I was like, okay, his character, okay, Groot is a badass Marvel character.
Yes.
We can all agree Groot is a badass Marvel character.
Yes.
I think I love, of all the Marvel characters, I think I love what they do with Groot in every movie that he's in.
Yes.
They take him through each stage. He's fun. He's not too much. He does his thing because we are Groot. It's actually one of the most epic moments of the first, what was that, the first or the second Guardians movie?
The first one.
He's in it. Was it the first one? And then at the end, he finds this, we are Groot, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that is such a great moment. It made me love Guardians even more.
Made me kind of tear up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. And let's see. Kaufman sounds like my TikTok feed. I'm TikTok today. Bob Smith. Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for joining us. It's like speaking to, so what was that? The animal again that I showed? The cat, the cheetah, the caracal. The caracal. Maybe I should have, maybe it's a sign like I should have a caracal in the story. Maybe that's what the sign is. Maybe I'll have a caracal.
Really interesting. The ear tufts alone are kind of a unique feature, but they're kind of small, but they're pretty docile usually. I mean, like, they don't attack on sight or something, so they're kind of a neat feline. I have a thing for felines, so I know a lot of them by sight.
I love that. I think with like, okay, so there's like the very middle of Scarecrow where I introduced like 20 to 30 different animals because it's a Coliseum type thing. And I throw random species in the rough draft. I think I want to be more intentional. Maybe I'll ask the community when I get to that point if there's any favorite animals people want to see. Maybe I'll do that. It's like I am cool with my main characters, but then I just want to have like 20 cool animals in a Coliseum fight. And I think beyond that, I'm like, which animals do I keep? I remember the animals in the first draft that people liked was like the flying eagle that just like goes by and does this like nosedive. And there's like an elephant. I got like a flying turtle or something like that. Like, it's been a while since I worked on it. Let's see. What do we got? Hey, what's up, Mike? Welcome, my friend. And by the way, actually, for those of you guys who missed out on Sunday's episode of the Create Right Now podcast, Mike and myself had an absolutely phenomenal podcast episode about mindfulness and being intentionality with your writing. It was a really great podcast episode. So if you are the type of writer out there who struggles with, just staying like mindful, or maybe getting stuck with anxiety or dealing with all that stuff, check out the podcast episode. Link down in the YouTube description below. Let's see. Yesterday when I was talking about Scarecrow, I thought of KFC. Hey, no one's gonna think of my Kentucky Fried Crow. Crow's too cool to be Kentucky Fried Crow.
Wonder how that tastes.
Wonder how that actually might be kind of. I feel like I should have a character who wants to eat crow.
All right.
Spiders. I should just have giant spiders. That's what I should do. I'm gonna channel the Harry Potter world and have the giant spiders.
Honestly, one of my characters from the Raziel Chronicles has a pet spider that she rides on like a horse.
I love that. It's a pet spider. That's actually that's a badass steed or pet.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea, actually. Nobody's expecting a pet spider.
And I gave him a name that's kind of ironic to those who love Spider-Man, Peter.
Yeah, nice.
What's the spider's name?
Spider's name is Peter.
Oh, man. I think what people are really going to find ironic about that is that when you come in with that spider and they're like, Peter, I think you need to have the character, have the chick that's writing him, be like, Peter, Park.
Yes. Peter Park. Now, good boy.
Apparently, Emma was like, I could imagine Jared's face on the side of a bucket. I was like, okay. I'm like, all right, guys, when you open up the merchandise shop, what do you want me to sell? A bucket with my face on the side. I'm like, great. I'll be like,
oh, now I get
I'll just be like the most comedic thing ever. Like, great. I'm like, that's what people want. Cracked me up. A bucket. Let's see. Gore is like, if there's not at least one honey badger in the arena, I will be disappointed. It's a perfect animal for the arena. What do honey badgers look like? Do you guys know what honey badgers look like? I know I've seen a honey badger. I'm just trying to think of what it looks like.
I thought of it and then it removed itself from my mind.
Yep. I see it. I was like, it's these guys. Actually, the closest I saw, there was, I think I saw an anteater. I saw an anteater. I think I saw an orangutan. Of the types. Why couldn't it just follow the butterflies?
That would have been awesome.
Nice.
For anyone who's played Hogwarts Legacy, by the way, there is literally there's actually a quest called Follow the Butterflies, where if you find butterflies in the map, you follow them to a treasure.
Yep.
Oh my god, I love that. How does the spider get guided when they're being ridden by the driver? Does she just like use like a horse, or does the spider, is it more like a dragon and it just like knows where to go?
It just knows where to go.
It should have a thing for butterflies.
Deal.
The spider's awesome, and then it gets distracted by butterflies. And apparently,
like a dog being distracted by a squirrel.
All right, I think we do have the beginning of a joke here.
Yes.
A spider, a sloth, and a honey badger walk into a bar. I'm like, all right, I don't know what the punchline is. I'm not the funny one here. Don't ask me for jokes.
Spiders, sloth, and a honey badger. Okay. All right.
What does the internet come up with?
All right, let's go.
Oh man. Okay, so let's see. While you're looking up that, I think now's a perfect time. I want to call out we have a lot of events coming up over the next couple months. Are either you guys going to submit for the Flash Fiction contest?
I'm going to try.
I probably won't be able to.
Totally all good, my friend. I want to just make sure to call this out. It's our Freaky Friday Flash Fiction contest. I know I saw a couple of our writers in that chatting about it earlier, and I just wanted to call out. So the Flash Fiction contest, there's some really cool prizes for it. The 12 finalists are going to get their story published in an anthology, a one-on-one critique with either myself or Penelope, a live reading of their Flash Fiction by a published author. And then the top 4 winners are going to win $20 Barnes & Noble gift cards. Entry submission is free. We're going to probably have a very high submission rate for this. So submit now. And may the best writer win. You guys still got 3 weeks. Submission deadline is in 3 weeks. Sunday, October 13th. We'll be celebrating Soul's anniversary that day. So obviously here are all the guidelines. If you want to submit, you want to know more now, the submission link down in the YouTube description. So that will be super cool. That is our October live event. And then Soul, we're looking forward to our November live event. We have a lot of writers who are actually super excited for Choose Your Own Adventure. Crazy, have you heard about what our November live event is?
No, I have not.
Yeah, I was like, I should. Every single time I don't have something ready, I'm like blaming Courtney, and I'm like, I should have prepared.
Give me like one moment. I'll join in on this conversation in just a minute.
Yeah, you're good. I'm going to pull up, like, I came up with a cool little logo. Awesome. So I just wanted to call this out real fast. So I'll tell you about it. So like I said, we have a lot of events coming up over the next couple months. Obviously Flash Fiction, but crazy. Have you ever done Choose Your Own Adventure before?
Never, but I have read them before.
You have? Okay, cool. So you know the cons. I used to love reading those Choose Your Own Adventures when we were when I was growing up. I love Choose Your Own Adventures. In November, Soul and I are partnering. We're going to be doing a 4-week Choose Your Own Adventure event.
Gotcha.
It's going to be super cool. Anybody who participates in the event itself, we're still ironing out some of the logistics and figuring out the right program and the right format. But anyone who is involved will be getting an author credit that we will all be submitting for NaNoWriMo. It's going to be the first fully written, fleshed out story that we're submitting as a community since our development with Hermes the Cat from 5-6 months ago. And for those of you guys who don't know, I want to say back in, I think this was May or June, we developed a story together as a community. And the story we developed was called Hermes the Cat Lost in Purgatory. And it was basically that. And Hermes had to go through the 9 levels of purgatory because they were out of lives. There was alligators and aliens and musketeers and the devil and all this crazy stuff. So very fun concept. Well, so we still have to figure out. We'll figure out in October what story to go with.
Yep.
But I'm super stoked about it. And I know we've had a bunch of writers chatting about it. So like, this is your chance. If you are a writer, and let's say like Novembers are always busy for me. And before I started this journey, I always worked customer service. Novembers suck if you work in customer service because you're busy. If you're a student, you're probably doing midterms, and that just type of the year. Like I never had time to write a 50,000 word novel in the past before when November's rolled around. So I wanted to give members of the community to help participate if they still want to be involved, and we'll all do NaNoWriMo together. So I think it'll be super cool. Choose Your Own Adventure is just awesome. Choose Your Own Adventure is awesome.
Plus, I won't be working with you as Chat Soul either. I'm going to be working under my company, Eclipse Studios.
Mm-hmm. So Soul's going to be putting on the game designer hat. I absolutely love it. It's going to be a really fun. It's going to be a really fun stream, and it's going to be. I want to say it'll be over probably four weeks, I think. So we're going to be doing it as 4 events, and we'll probably have the last one be like the major reveal of, okay, this is the story we have, and we'll submit it together, and we'll see what happens. And it'll be the best story submitted in NaNoWriMo, and it'll get all the awards. I'm like, dang, you guys are just going to have to do this every year because you're so awesome. And I'm like, and that is the community right now. All right, perfect. And then in December, still a couple months away, we're going to be hosting the next Write-a-thon. Soul, you were here for the last Write-a-thon in July, which was super cool. You were here in July. How was it?
It was awesome. I was there the entire time, and I just had a lot of fun with that.
Mm-hmm. It was, Soul, you like hopped on with me right at the beginning, and I'm like, all right, guys, this is gonna be like a 6-hour stream. I was like, any of you guys can join, and Soul joins me at the beginning, and we're like, all right, we're both gonna do 6 hours. Let's do it. Great. We got like workshops, we had discussions. We did that. That game was pretty fun. Crazy.
Yeah,
you missed out on the
game.
game.
It was hilarious.
We wrote a story live with 6 writers about Gandalfina, the vampire wizard mermaid princess.
Yep.
Okay.
It was weird, crazy, but it was awesome.
I can already imagine that. I'm scared now.
Oh man, so clearly we got a lot going on, but yeah, I just wanted to call those things out. I'm like super stoked, and I'm glad that we get to do a lot of fun things. Clearly I sidetracked. They're chatting about the 500 subscriber. Everyone's really excited about the Discord. I didn't think that people would be so psyched about it. It's just funny though that YouTube is literally about to launch a community tool that's like Discord. Did you guys know that? So YouTube did like a big announcement. They're about to relaunch. So right now in the YouTube community tab, right now it's just for doing posts, kind of like social media posts, but they're adding a thing for communities where if you're a subscriber of a community, you can post pictures. You'll be able to post content as part of the community itself. And they're formulating it kind of like a Discord-ish like vibe. It's interesting. So they said that's coming end of year or early next year. So we'll see. But I've used Discord sometimes. So you have a lot of experience with Discord, right?
Mm-hmm. I have a decent amount of experience with it.
I used to have a Discord. I used to have a Discord like years ago, and then everything just got too dramatic and stuff, so I stopped doing it for a while. I might do it again.
What did
I
you guys like?
have a
Is it
few
like the
few of my own servers right
is
now,
it the
and I'm
vibe
a
of
part of
Discord?
a lot.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sorry, what?
clearly you have a lot of experience, which is awesome. What
I have
about
some.
Discord? Is it because you can like have your own like community messaging chat essentially, and you guys can do like the different I don't know what they're called, but you can basically it's kind of like a forum, right? It's like a messaging forum.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I've got, like I said, I've got two Discords that I run myself. That are, well, for other people, and then I've got one for my company as well. Soulworth Works, that's for my fan fictions and my O3 thing, and then I've got Hollow's Books, which is for my author name. Granted, I don't really have people on them yet, but thing is, they're up and they're open, and once I get the chance, I do plan on turning them into something a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
especially with Soulworth's Works. That's basically just for my fan fictions. People can ask about the lore. They can request certain things. They can get direct links to my works and
framed
stuff.
the
So
Discord around your like story. You framed it around your world, and it's a way for fans to be able to
I have
interact.
framed it around my fan fictions. Yes.
Interesting. How do you get a lot of like engagement and a lot of people responding?
I haven't gotten any on mine yet, but I'm on another one who actually gave me the idea to do it in the first place. And I think about 3 weeks ago they hit 200 members, which is pretty awesome.
Wow.
And I mean, basically what I've got in my Discord is pretty much what they're doing. I've got spots for art. I've got spots for people to share their own fan fictions, to ask about lore, to just chat about the stories, different things like that. They've got all kinds of areas where you can chat about, well, just about anything related to their fan fictions or the fandoms that they work in. So like they've got, I think I've seen everything from like Pokemon to One Piece, which is their main one, to I think they did like a DC Batman one a few weeks ago.
Interesting. Okay. So it sounds like there's a lot of different options with Discord, which is super cool.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll be doing my share of research before I launch the Discord. I'll make sure I'm intentional. I'm sure I'll get you guys' feedback. Like once again, I promised it once we hit 500 subscribers. We're getting close. We're around 20 left to go. So we're getting close. So tap that share button, share it with your friends, share it with your writing communities, and help us get to 500 subscribers. I was like, that's like the first major milestone, like the huge, at least in terms of like the number following, which would be super cool. And it looks like in the chat, let's see, Megan, you were saying the 6-hour write-a-thon. Yes, if you want to check out the last 6-hour write-a-thon, it's on the YouTube homepage. It's under the live events. It's under the live writing events. If you want to check out the 6-hour, the first write-a-thon back in July, this next one, we're going to be doubling it. It's going to be an 8-hour one where it's going to be an all-day writing convention. It's going to be more workshops, more games, more discussions, more authors, and just more. It's going to be the biggest live stream of the year, I promise you. Because why not celebrate 1-year anniversary of the WriteNow community? So like, I think it's going to be badass. Let's see. Choose your own adventure. Yes. So we've had a lot of interest in choose your own adventure. I think it's going to be awesome. Let's see. Mike said, so it sounds like Mike wants to join in the choose your own adventure. We have to tell people in his town to behave and stop committing crime so he can join. All right, criminals. I need to focus on building a fantasy world. Stop doing drugs. Stop being bad human beings. Just behave. All right, Mike. Well, we'll help you out. We'll send out some good vibes. Let's see. Awesome. Looks like they had some good suggestions for Discord. Discord is awesome for creators. You can have different channels for different things, and then voice channels too. I think I've seen that. That's the thing. I'm in a couple of Discords. I've never been active enough, and I just haven't explored it enough to understand the format, the algorithm, just the way the culture. But I think I've done a voice channel before, which would actually be a cool option. I wonder if more people would probably like doing there's one thing to do a voice option. That could actually be interesting. Like do it as a discussion. That'd be fun. The writing one I'm a part of even has bot sprinting, and they have different sections for regular talk and writing talk, and another area for smut writing. So you can have like the different areas of writing. That's cool. Also, a section for your work for feedback. They make you get feedback to get feedback. That would be cool. So it gives writers another opportunity to be able to get faster feedback, or do like, hey, I need help with this, and then it connects somebody else with like they need help with this. I think that's actually cool. Well, Amo, you found yourself in the right place, my friend. We are all writers here. Crazy writers, some of us maybe. Amazing writers, horrible writers, but we are all writers here. The best types of human beings. Hey, what's up, engineer? Hey, Jack, good news. I got my depressive writer friend to draw the spooky context. That's awesome, engineer. That's really awesome. To draw the spooky context. That's really cool. So it sounds like you got help from a writing friend to help you with your storytelling, which is wonderful. Writers working together, I love. So with that being said, and absolutely, ML, you're here among friends. You are absolutely here among friends, ML. Being gay in Eastern Kentucky is impossible to find writer friends. Regardless of sexuality or gender or bias, all are welcome here. The only requirement. Have I told you guys what my 3 mottos are? My three core values? Be kind, be creative, and be confident. I like that. And with that being said, it is time to see if we can beat Chat Soul at another round of writing sprints.
Good luck.
I'm out.
Oh, good with that look, guys. I don't think anybody can surpass. All right, guys. So writing sprint number 2. We are coming back to word count Wednesdays. All right. So let me drop this. Let me pull back up the timer, and we will be starting at the same time. Gotta drop that stuff. All right. All right, so what do we got? It is 33. All right, let's do it. 25 minutes. Well, we'll do 25 minutes this time. Give everyone a little bit more time. I'm having fun writing Scarecrow and Crow and craziness. So let's do that. We're going to do 25 minutes. Get my timer up. Now that I'm doing like full-on writing sprints again, and it's time for me to make a new playlist. Probably do that next week. All right, so I got 25 minutes on the clock, and let me reset the finger. All right, and it's time.
Hello.
All right, guys, and we are back. All right, so talking about our workout Wednesday. How did we do that time? Did we make some more progress?
Your audio is like really weird right now.
The audio is weird.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing. There we go. How's that?
There we go.
Yeah, I must I knocked the reverb on it. Probably in the screen. I was like, how come it probably sounded either too loud or too soft. It's like some weird thing.
Where's Courtney put it underwater?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. This is the setting on it. Much better. Well, I'm glad I can speak through. All right, so let's see what we got this time. So word count checks. Courtney 723 word counts. Megan 600 word counts. All right, my friends, how did you guys do?
990.
Dagnabbit.
Dagnabbit, we're never gonna beat Soul.
Again.
Soul, I will beat you. I will literally take a break from Last Scarecrow to do a free flow short story just to beat your word count. I'm like so intentional with my word choice because like I need to get the beginning chapter like perfect because it's the first chapter. I'm going to switch to a short story next week just to beat your word count. I'm going to do it.
Good.
Yeah, and funny thing is, I managed to finish that chapter and get into the next one.
Oh man. Oh man, we'll never beat chat. So
yes,
chat,
this is why Soul cannot
crazy.
play. That's what Courtney said.
Crazy, what did you get?
Honestly, I didn't get any because I'm kind of done writing for the night.
Okay, well, sometimes that happens, especially because we're a little later on in the night by this point in time. Let's see, what did I do? So it doesn't for me. Let's see, for me it adds up the total since I've been in the session. Okay, I'll have to remember that to hop in and out of the program. But it looks like I think I had 300 before, and this time I got 730. So what? 3, 4, 5, 6. So 430. So okay, I improved my word count a little bit that time. So 430, 300 the first time, 430 the second time. Still not even amounting to souls. So you know what? I'm going to do a free write just to beat Soul next time. Tune in to Right Now Writers Group meeting number 12. Kaufman versus Soul. Who will win? Only one soul will enter. One right.
Only one will enter.
Only one soul will win. Oh man, that is actually why Soul has to play. Because we have to beat Soul Courtney. I think when somebody gives me a challenge, I say challenge accepted. We will. We'll beat Soul next Wednesday. They never
next Wednesday. Kaufman versus
never let
Soul.
Chat Soul play in any reindeer games. We've already got a write-off. We have like a write-off in the making, Soul.
Actually, you know what? That actually might be a fun event.
That actually might be a fun
pit
event.
yourself against another author, not just me, but like anyone who wants to face you, and do like just start a completely new story with the same prompt and see what we do.
Yeah, I think that would be a phenomenal one. That's a good idea, man. We should. I love that. I'm gonna run with that. I think that'll be a great live stream.
It'll be really fun.
That'd be
I have to admit, yeah, no, I'm actually curious to see how that would go. See how different people could write a story from the same prompt.
Yeah, actually, I want to say in October. I want to say there's one weekend I don't have the podcast scheduled. I might do that for a Sunday because I think that would be a fun Sunday. That'd work as a Friday or Sunday. We'll do that in October. I actually think that'd be super sweet. Awesome. 6-hour game to play. All right, guys. So you can get the most word counts in 6 hours of writing. You're like, all right, you only win if you get 50,000 words. You're like, who needs the month of November to NaNoWriMo a story? I only need 6 hours. So your average in a 20-minute sprint is about 900 words on average, and that's 20 minutes. So technically, if I'm distilling that into an hour, you can technically get 9, 18, That's about 2,000 to 25 in an hour. In 6 hours, if I was distilling that further, 6 times 2, 12. So, or 6 times 2 is 20. So that's what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So you'd probably be able to get what, like a good 20,000 words.
Well,
if you
let's
did sit
see.
down for
Which
6
story
hours.
was it? Oh, in one of my fan fictions, A New Life.
Mhm.
That's my longest one so far. I did about 8,000 words in a day, and that was within like 8 hours, like 8 to 10 hours.
I told you guys that originally I was going to try the thing with NaNoWriMo. I was going to try to get the highest word count of all time. Clearly, that was before I realized that we have the reigning champion over here. I could never do anything. But chat, so like I don't think that even you could beat what the record is. The world record for NaNoWriMo, 30 days, was 5 million words.
Is how many?
5 million.
Dang, yeah, I don't think I could do that.
And it was done in 20. It was done in 2016. I forgot the guy's name, and because I looked it up, I'm like, "What's the height? The height? It's 5 million." I was like, "Yeah, that's called writing for 24 hours a day in November and not taking a break, except to eat and bio breaks." God, oh man. Oh, Courtney was saying as one of the games for the 6 hour. Yeah, that would actually be a really good idea. We're gonna do a stream that'll be a write-off, and then I think that would also be a great writing game. Yeah, if there's writing games that you guys want to see, absolutely. Right now we're focused on the fiction contest and then our choose your own adventure. I'll probably start doing more of the logistics of the planning for the 6 hour. It's probably going to be an 8 hour. Like I said, it'll be more an all day. I'll start putting those logistics together once we get into November, but definitely more to come. Absolutely. Beautiful. And as we hit the mark, my friends, it's been a great stream today. Good. Very, very good writers meeting. I got a little productive, little more done in here. I'm actually very happy with what I got on Scarecrow. I'm like, my goal is to make Crow like this very like comedic, like kooky side character in the beginning. I want him to be even funnier. So I think I'm having fun. I think I am.
We like having fun.
We approve of this message. All right, my friends. Well, it's been awesome today. Thank you for joining us. If you've joined us in the Right Now Writers group, if you're here in the live stream, you're watching on the replay, Right Now Writers group, every Wednesday, this time, 4 p.m. Pacific, 4, 5, 6, 7 p.m. Eastern. Be here. We'll be here every Wednesday. So come join us. And if you want to test out your chops, your live stream chops, and you want to hop on the stream with us, let me know. Drop a comment. Let us know. And you can come join us with our other Right Now Writers group members. Obviously, Solo's our reigning champion here. I love having you here, Crazy. But we have our other writers members will pop up so often. We got some of our other ones. Come join us. Clearly, we're just a bunch of writers trying to write and maybe procrastinating a little bit. But you know what? All is in a good day writing session, right?
Yes.
Awesome. And ML wants to hear what I think more about autocrit. ML, I'll go a little bit more into my vibes with autocrit after I've used it for a week, because I want to make sure that I can give accurate feedback. So far, I'm liking a lot of the features, but I want to make sure that I test it out fully. So, but tomorrow's another writing stream. Tomorrow is Thursday. So tomorrow's my early stream. I'll be up at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to keep writing Scarecrow and Crow Stone. What more can you want out of that? All right, my friends. And that's what I got. Crazy Soul, thanks for joining me today.
Yep.
No
As always, it's a pleasure having you too.
Pleasure being here.
Appreciate you, my friends. And as we wrap up this stream and we look towards creative writing on the morrow, I'll be back tomorrow for our early writing stream. If you want to check out previous episodes of the Right Now Writers Group, link down in the YouTube description. They're cool. We have more writer shenanigans if you missed out. Always a fun treat. And most importantly, if you enjoyed the stream, tap that like button on the way out. Help us show the algorithms that writing streams are cool. All right, my friends, that's all that I got for you today. Don't forget, words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers.